Yeah, my phone is dead, so and I don't want to delay the process, so I thought I'll take this recording in the laptop itself. So anyway, so what I wanted to say is two things. One, we have, I believe that two faculties of the brain. One being the mental faculty, the other being the ego faculty. The mental faculty, meaning which I said creativity, innovation, intuition, reasoning, reading, journaling. I think all of these intellectual capacities that we have, I think these all comes under the mental faculties. The mental faculties is the one that God has bestowed upon us, like to only humans, not to animals, to only humans. So this mental faculties, the ability to harness our skill and make it, make all the skills together, and the ability to help other human beings make money out of it, and then compile these skills, and even making it this purposeful thing to a vision, and then living a vision out of it. All these things, it is because of what? Your mental faculties. I've spoken a few things about the mental faculties, like the fundamentals of life, journaling. I've talked about loops of life, reasoning, reading. All these things are basically, we're able to do it because of this mental faculty. And then obviously we have the RAS, the reticular activating system. The RAS is basically the thing that is in your brain that is helps you to filter out information out of the, you see millions of bits of information in your environment. And the RAS is the one that helps you to filter out a specific information that you want, and that is in your brain, in your amygdala. So basically, if you like red car, you're able to see red car when you go outside. Okay, and then you have the RAS. So mental faculties, RAS, and then also you have the ego faculty. So ego faculty is basically, that is anything related to anxiety, fear, stress, chaos, guilt, shame, all this, the fight and flight mode, and all these things. I'm a person that I don't believe that the ego is the enemy. I believe that ego is something that we have to harness ourselves, just like lust. If you don't control lust, the lust conquers you. So similarly, I believe that the ego is also something like that, something that you have to harness, because it is through ego that we know a lot of ourselves and how we are the way we are. Again, we have the RS. So RS is basically something that is in your brain, and that helps you to filter out information. So if you like red car, you see the red. If you like red car, from the millions of bits of information that you see in your environment, you filter out red car. So that is so the more which of the faculties are do you use more? If you use the ego faculty more, the brain will filter out or the RAs will filter out what? The ego faculty. If you think anxiety more, your environment would be anxious. Similarly, and I think this is very important when it comes to mental faculties also. The reason that why thinking in this two both ways is very very important is that when you wake up in the morning, you spend 8 hours of your time, and then when you go up, think about which area have you spent more of. Whichever area, mental faculty or ego faculty, whichever area you spent, the RAS will reflect that in your environment. So it is very important to know which of the mental faculties do you use more. Okay, because I feel like when you live in a life when you where you don't use any of creativity, any of innovation, any of the things that basically daydream, these things are something that God has bestowed to only humans. And I think that the environment that we live in, the world that we live in is not suited for any of the mental faculties. It is basically suppressing all the mental faculties, and it is basically all conditioning to the ego faculties. Use doom scrolling, it's just feeding your ego. That is it. and none of this creativity, innovation, none of this faculties is being used. And like even taking a walk, journaling, writing, these things are never encouraged. So the thing that is it gone the thing that I want to convey is that how important is mental faculties and how important is the ego faculties and how it will affect in our world. What in in 2 3 years, what I have lived and what I feel like is that from the feedback and from all the things that I learned from people and from the results that I have, is that when you are able to understand how mental faculties and how ego faculties work, you're able to take smart decisions more accurately. This is what I feel, and this is what also my life is like. I have improved in a lot of things in that, and I'm still improving. For example, when one of the things that I've got a lot of better at is cutting your losses. You have to know, you have to be very smart at cutting your losses. For example, you have come up with the choices where you have to lose 4,000 now, and you will lose 14,000 dirhams in the next coming 4 months. Okay, or you have another choice where you lose 14,000 now and 4,000 will be lost in the next 4 months. So all these things are both are losses. First of all, you have to understand that this is negative, and then you have to take that decisions without your emotions compiling in, and then take decisions smartly. So basically this is just this is like very poor example, but what I'm saying is your ability to ability to cut losses is very important. And again, this requires you to harness your ego self, and also it requires your ability to the mental faculties also, the reasoning and things like that. Another thing, another skill that I think I've got better at is that the ability to structure a task, give it to a person, and when you give it to a person, analyze it, follow up with it, and also understand the performance of that particular task, and then increase the bar of that task. So this is just one task. It's not a task is never giving to one person, or a task is not something you have a task you do it. No, it's something that you have to follow up, you have to analyze, you have to perform, you have to understand the performance of the before and after, and then you have to increase the bar. Then only you know that a task is productive, or it's a task is productive in recurring way. So this helps you. The again, this also, you require the mental faculty, you require the ego faculty to take some decisions like that. You have to be patient, you have to know what to do when. And imagine, this is one task I'm talking about. Let's say you have 5 tasks for one person, and you have 5%, that is how many tasks now? So this is also one important, and the ability to think in 6 months, the ability to think in 5 years. These things cannot happen unless you harness or master these two faculties. You have to know when to use, what to use, and your environment should be in a way that should promote the mental faculties as well. I think all these things are way important, and you don't learn from the universities and things like that. But I thought that these things are something that has helped me a lot, and I thought I would like to put it in the video. And yeah, and all activities, I think your environment, again, I've said this in the previous, your environment reflects you. So the activities that you do daily reflects. It's all about compounding the tiny activities that you do. If all the tiny activities is reflecting in the mental faculties, you'll have a terrible life. If all the faculties, tiny activities that you reflect, at least 70% of that, your 60% tiny actions that you take, tiny activities that you take in a day, if it is not reflecting in the mental faculties, it will be a problem. So yeah, hopefully this would have helped you take what you want, the psychology of suicide.